Alright guys, welcome to Math 0106 Lesson 6. Today we're going to be talking about how to divide fractions. And so, division of fractions, let's look at number 1 here. We have 3 over 5 divided by 1/2. Let's write this out, 3 over 5 divided by 1/2. So the question is what does division mean? So let's take a simple example. Let's say I ask you what's 6 divided by 2. You would say 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now what if I say what is, let's put it this way, what's half of 6? You would say 6 times a half, or maybe a half times 6. Either way would be fine. And both of these would give you 3. So notice that either way, we end up getting the same result. And that is exactly what division is. Dividing is multiplying by the reciprocal. So in our situation, we would rewrite 1/2 here as 2 because the reciprocal of 1/2 is 2. By the way, the word reciprocal, just to be clear here, means when you flip numerator and denominator. So this is 2 over 1. The first number stays the same, and then we do what we did last time with multiplication. So we would try to divide. We can't, so it's just 3 times 2 is 6, 5 times 1 is 5, and our answer is 6 over 5. This is commonly referred to as keep, change, flip. You may have called that in the past. Personally, I like to think about it as, well, what is the relationship here that's going on? And once I understand that, solving these problems becomes fairly simple. Okay, so let's do a couple of these. Let's try number 2. 2 over 4 divided by 7 over 9. So all we have to do is 2 over 4 times, flip the top of the bottom, 9 over 7. Again, I'm looking to see if something can divide out. Nothing is here, so in other words, 2, we can't put, well, what am I saying? I can put 2 into 4, so we can divide both of these by 2. And this would give me 1 over 2 times 9 over 7. And now you multiply across, and we would get 9 over 14. And there would be my answer. Okay, let's try the next one. So this would be 4 over 5 times 7 over 2. Look to see if something divides out. These both are divisible by 2, and we're left with 14 over 5. So notice, when we divide, it's just 2 and 1, so 2 times 7 is 14, 5 times 1 is 5. Number 4, we have 6 over 7 times 2 over 1. Be careful. A lot of students try to cancel the 6 with the 2, but you can only divide things through if you're comparing the numerator with denominator. In this case, we can't. So 6 times 2 is 12, 7 times 1 is 7, and there's our answer. Alright, so here's the next one. 3 over 4 times 8 over 1. Notice all I'm doing is keeping the first number the same, changing the operation, and flipping these two numbers. And here we notice that 4 and 8 are both divisible by 4, so I'd leave me with 3 times 2, which is 6. The denominator is now actually just 1, so the answer is just 6. Moving right along, 2 over 3 times 4 over 3, and I hope as I'm working these through, you are pausing the video and trying to do this on your own. At some point, hopefully by this point, you're actually working through these problems on your own, and all you're doing now is checking to make sure that your work matches up with mine. By the way, in this particular example, I hope that you clearly see that all I did is multiply across, because 2 doesn't go into 3 and 4 doesn't go into 3, so there's nothing more to do than just multiply across. Number 7, we have 7 over 12 times, flip it, 9 over 7. So clearly now the 7's match up and they divide out. Both of these are divisible by 3, so it's 3 over 4. And I'm getting a little crowded, so I'm going to do the rest of them below. So here we have number 8, 5 over 6 divided by 2 over 3. So we're going to keep the 5 over 6 the same. We're going to change the sign, and we're going to flip 2 over 3 to 3 over 2. Looking at this, both 6 and 3 are divisible by 3, so this would leave me with 3 and 1. And that's about all that I can do. So 5 times 1 is 5, and 3 times 2 is 6. And there's my answer. Okay, let's look at number 9. Number 9 is 3 over 4 divided by 4 over 5. And more of the same. So we keep, we change, and we flip, and we see if we have anything you can't divide out. And in this particular example, the 4s are on the same level, so they don't divide out, and there's nothing else to do but multiply across, so we have 15 over 16. And let me put the other one on another page here. Number 10, we have, let's see here, number 10, we have 10 over 11 divided by 5 over 66. So once more, keep, change, flip, and we're going to see here if something divides out, and we can see 5 and 10 are both divisible by 5, so this will be 2. 11 and 66 are both divisible by 11, so this will become 6, and this will become 1. So all I have left is really numbers on the top, so 2 times 6 is 12. 12 over 1 is just 12. And there's my answer. Cool beans. Number 11. 2 divided by 6 over 5. And once more, keep, change, flip. Here what's important to realize is 2 is the same thing as 2 over 1. 2 and 6 are both divisible by 2, and I'm going to be left with 5 on the top and 3 on the bottom. And there's my answer. Okay. Number 12. Let's see here. Number 12 has 12 over 15 divided by 5. Don't forget 5 is the same thing as 5 over 1. So we're going to keep, we're going to change, and we're going to flip. And once more, you may try to put 15, do something with 15 and 5, but you can't because they're on the same level. But we can say both 12 and 15 are divisible by 3, so 4 over 5. So here we're left with 4 times 1 is 4, 5 times 5 is 25, and it's 4 over 25. And there's our answer. Alright, keep moving right along. So again, I hope that at this point you really are developing a rhythm with this, and you're coming to realize that this is not so bad, but if you need some help on the next one, that's what I'm here to do. So on the next one, we're going to have 3 times 5 over 4, and again, that's keep, change, flip. And so when we solve this, I'm going to go ahead and write 3 as 3 over 1, and we're going to multiply across, so this is 15 over 4. And the next one, we're going to have 18 times 14 over 3. Remember, again, 18 is 18 over 1. And again, I want to stress that you could only divide if the top and the bottom match up. So 18 and 3 are both divisible by 3. It's going to leave me 6 and 1. And we're just going to multiply. So 6 times 14 is 84. What I do there, by the way, in my head, is when I see 6 times 14, I actually think of it as 6 times 10 plus 4. And the first part is 60, the second part is 24, and when we put together it's 84. And what's actually really interesting about this, and the reason why I'm bringing this up, is kind of foreshadowing. We are later on in the course going to talk about how we multiply. And And what I want you to see here is when you do the first part of this, you get 24. And the second part, when we go 6 times 1 plus 2, what you're really doing here is you're doing 6 times 10 plus 2 is 8. So you can kind of see that the algorithm that we use to do multiplying numbers together is really nothing more than this property, which is called distribution. Okay, some little bit of information that's beyond the scope of this course, but it's nice to have some extra information. So hopefully that makes you think, okay, I can kind of see the relationship. Okay, now let's go to 15. And for 15, I'm actually going to look at 15. And in 15 it says, how many sections of a 2/3 long pipe can be cut from a pipe that is 20 feet long? How much pipe will be left over? Okay, so this is a very interesting question. So this is saying, so you have a 20-foot long pipe, and you're going to figure out how many 2/3 you can fit into it. So if you have something that is 20 feet long, and we're going to divide it into 2/3. So we're essentially saying 20 divided by 2/3, which is the same thing as 20 times 3 over 2. And so when we do this, the 20 and the 2 divide out, and this leaves me with 10. 10 times 3 is 30. So it says how many? You can have 30. You can cut it 30 times. So you can take a 20-foot pipe, and you can put 30 2/3 in it. And then it says how much pipe will be left over. Well, what's interesting here is because it goes in evenly, there's nothing left over, so the answer is just 30. So let's try 16. After her raise, Shannon earned 3/4 more than she previously made. If Shannon's weekly salary totaled $2,100 after her raise, what was her original wage? Now this is a little bit trickier. I'm going to introduce something here that's a little, again, maybe a little bit outside of the scope of this course, but I think it helps to clarify what's going on. So when we read this question, she's going to make 3/4 more than she previously made. So she makes, let's say she makes M for money, and she's going to make 3/4 more. Okay, so she had M, and now she's going to make 3/4 more. And if her wage totaled $2,100 after her raise, what was Shannon's original weekly wage? So we have something like this, and we're going to need to solve this. But actually, in order to solve this, we're going to need to put these two together. And to put those two together, we need actually to know how to add fractions. So what I want you to realize is that this is 1m, and 1m is actually 4 over 4m plus 3 over 4m equals 2,100. So we will come back to this question later on. For the time being, don't worry about it. Leave it alone. But hopefully everything else made sense. And I'm actually going to stop here and say this is the end of lesson 6, dividing fractions. Hopefully this makes sense. Let me know in the comments what you think, or email me. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next math video. And before I go, I was rewatching these videos, just checking to make sure things are good, that I didn't make a silly mistake, things such as that. And I actually did make a silly mistake, and hopefully you caught this right over here. We divided by 3, and so this should not be 3, it should actually be 2, and this should not be 6, it actually should be 4, because 2 times 2 is 4. So hopefully when you're watching you notice that. Always feel free, if you catch a mistake, leave a comment in the down below, and so that we can all see what the error is. But yeah, a little mistake there, which will happen from time to time. So please, when you're watching these videos, make sure you watch it all the way to the end. Now, with that being stated, that is the end of this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.